So I didn't tell you about this when it happened because by the time I would have been able to get that information to you, you would have not been able to act on it because they would have been completely sold out. But Taylor Swift released a cardigan for the Red album, and it's white with red stars. And I'm pretty sure there's 4 of them on it. There's just 3 on this one. And I got one of those things. Like, I happened to be on the website at the right time because like 2 days before, Mr. Soap and Clay and I were talking about it. And it's like, well, why is she just releasing merch that just has her face on it? Because I'm not the kind of person who's just going to wear like an artist's face on my... It's not going to happen. And I'm like, why don't they just release a cardigan? And we checked the website and there were no cardigans. And then 2 days later, we're watching the All Too Well like short film. And I checked the merch store again. And there's a cardigan for Red. And I bought that thing. I was so excited. I checked with Mr. Soap and Clay first to make sure that he did not get it already, like he already knew and bought it for me for Christmas. But he had not. And so I bought that thing. And I'm talking about that because I'm wearing the limited edition cardigan. And it reminded me that at some point, the new Red cardigan is going to show up at my house. I'm super excited for that. And that has nothing to do with the pour today. No, it actually kind of does because the pour that we're doing, it's red and white stripes because it's peppermint, like a candy cane. And the new cardigan, it's white with red stripes. Red, the album. So it all comes together. It's weird that I'm wearing this and that somehow that works with the soap. I'll tell you more about the thing that we're making in just a minute, but before I do, hello, I am Mrs. Soap and Clay. Let's make stuff. How's it going, Sudsers? Welcome back to the channel. You are at Soap and Clay, where we make all the soapy things. And you are here for day 187 of 365 days of soap. So we're like midway plus some. And today we are making a candy cane soap for one of my wholesale accounts. And we're doing it in a fun way. We are actually splitting the batch, the oils for the batch, into 2 equal portions. And we are going to be coloring one of the oil portions red, coloring one of the oil portions white, and then we will be taking the lye solution and just measuring out enough oil in the lye solution that we need for each layer, and we can build it from there. So we have nice even layers. So it's going to be fun and tedious for me, because as you know, I don't like layers. But let's get to the video, and you can watch me not be good at layers there. So today we're doing something kind of weird that we haven't done in like a year. And that thing is called separating a whole batch into smaller batches using very precise measurements to do layers. And so as you can see, I've got a red bucket, I've got a white bucket, and I've got some things you don't pay attention to. That's what we pay attention to for that. 6.3 ounces of oil and whatever the lye solution was. And I got that because I am making a 6-layer red and white bar. And I want to be able to control the batter so it does not get overly thick in the Pyrexes while I am waiting for the soap to thicken up in the mold so I can get a really, really nice clean layers, right? That won't break into each other. And so what I essentially did, this entire batch has 38 ounces of oils. First and foremost, I divided that by 2. And then I put the colorant into each of those containers. So the red and the white for this peppermint candy cane thing, which is a holiday soap and smells like peppermint, as you might expect, because peppermint. And so the colorant itself is within the soaping oils, but the lye is not. And so what I am then doing is measuring out those 6.3 ounces of the colored oil and then adding the appropriate lye solution. So again, taking my lye and water solution, lye plus water equals your lye solution, right? And also dividing that by 6. So we know how many ounces of the lye solution need to go into each layer to ensure that I have 6 equal layers. And I'm using the scale for it all because that's what we do. And so looks like we're sitting up right about 3 ounces. Is that what that thing said in the beginning? It sped by so fast. And so then, yeah, just taking essentially, and this is a smaller example of how you master batch, right? Because when you have your lye solution, a lot of soap makers like to master batch their lye solution and then just weigh it out. And I know that that's been a big source of confusion. And I think I talked about that in my FAQ because we see this like process, right? We put the lye into the water and we see this big exothermic reaction, lots of heat. And we see the fumes coming off and the heat. And we assume that some of that weight must be burning off too. Like your brain just goes, well, you're losing weight in all of this. But that's not so. And that's weird. So it's still the exact same amount of water and lye, reasonably the exact same amount of water and lye once the exothermic reaction, is done. So in this particular instance, right, 38 ounces of oil, 12.54 ounces of water, 5.46 ounces of lye, all of that gets added up to become your total batch weight. And so that's what you're working off of. Plus, of course, any other additives that you're putting into it. So your scent, which adds a couple ounces for something like this, just over 2 ounces. And for me personally, I do the kaolin clay. And so that's also adding a couple ounces. All of that goes into your total batch weight. And so if you really want an accurate, very precise measurement from layer to layer, you need to take that total batch weight and divide it out by how many layers you want. And if you already have that information, well, it's just as easy to break down your soap recipe into something like this, wherein your lye solution is already prepared. Yes, yes, yes. But you are just weighing off a portion of that lye solution based on the amount of oils so you know how much, lye you actually need to saponify those oils, and just working with one layer at a time, which is a really great way to do big batch soap making too. You can keep your oils and your lye at the ready, and whenever everything firms up, you can start your next layer, right? I love the right question mark that I send out these days. And I really love that because a few months ago, my sister-in-law was called out during a family thing for saying that. At the end of everything that she says, she always goes, right? And so she's telling a story and she does a thing. And she got called out for it. Like, this is your little thing. This is whatever. And I don't know if I was also doing that too, and somehow I didn't get called out during that fun family event. It was fun. It was a lot of fun. Or I just sort of took her personality onto myself and also say, right, all of the time. I don't know. You tell me. This was a couple months ago. How long have I been doing this? I feel like a long time. So maybe me and my sister-in-law are a lot more alike than we thought, which is cool because she's freaking delightful. And that's not me just saying this for the peoples because, I have no problem talking shit about my crappy family members. She's not one of them. Anyway, yeah, no, this process, it's a cool process. It's a good way to control your soap making and not have to worry about anything weird going on with your already emulsified oils hanging out in the Pyrex while you're waiting for the things to harden up in the mold. And we've done versions of this before. I think the most complex version that we did was that ridiculous Amy Warden soap challenge, wherein I decided to make some like weird Escher thing in soap form. And I had something like 18 layers when it was all said and done, right? But each of those layers were less than 3 ounces. And then I continued to turn the mold and do weird things. God, that was weird. I don't know why I show you guys weird things. I mean, I do know why. I do it because I like it. And that's all. Yeah, I feel like you guys should see. Well, I mean, because the thing is, I am in fact a professional soap maker that has been doing this for years and years. But I experiment and just don't have the answer just as much as you guys do. You know? And so when I am attacking a pore that I've never messed with before, sometimes it's not the necessarily best way to do it. But I want to show you guys that that's like totally normal. That's what everybody else is doing too. Do you find better ways to do something like that weird, crazy Escher thing? Yeah, you do. But that was my first attempt. And I wanted to show you guys that. This, however, is a really good way to do layers if you have the time and other things going on in the soap shop around you to just back away from the soap and, you know, go wrap some bath bombs, go fill some orders while the layers in the mold are firming up. This works really well because, again, that lye solution does not go bad the longer it sits on the counter. I have had lye solutions sit on the counter for a week before I actually used them. And they still made soap. So they are still completely usable and fine. And it really does minimize the stress that comes for me with layers, because I don't like layers. I find myself very stressed out doing layers because, well, they're stressful. I guess I'm going to mention it the 4th time in this video. The emulsified soap gets thick, the batter gets thick in the Pyrex. And then instead of having a nice pourable consistency, you're having to just plop everything into the mold. And then you have to deal with air pockets. And yeah, none of that is fun for me. So this is a nice way to tackle, you know, those sorts of recipes. It's the most enjoyable way I found to do layers. Still hate layers. And pull-throughs. Because I'm bad at both of them. But this one should probably be pretty good. I don't know. Let's go check out the cut. This will be C-popped and gelled. Feels like it's been a long time since I've said that. And let's see how my layers look. Okay, now on to the cut of this guy. And let's see what my layers end up doing. And yes, I am and have been wearing coats and multiple layers of things in the soap shop for the last couple months. Thank you so much for everybody that, you know, finds that and sees that and notices it and calls it out. It's cold out here. And we're still figuring out, you know, heater issues and how to make it all just work. So, yeah, wearing a coat. Wore a coat during the pour, too. Hey, look at my layers. Those are cute. I almost feel like if they had broken through the layers, though, it would have been even a better candy cane pour, because candy canes are not straight layers like that. They actually do have some swirl and twist about them, right? Like an actual candy cane. But, you know, this was not the brief that was given to me. They wanted straight layers, and so we did the thing. But this would be a really cool, like, Dr. Seuss soap, too. With the red and the white. I'm actually, while I'm talking about red and white soap and looking at these awesome layers, I am in my email right now looking up when I'm going to get shipment from my... So Taylor Swift, I don't know if you guys know this, She released a cardigan for the Red album. Because you know how I have the 2 cardigans from the Folklore album, right? The regular one and limited edition. I've talked about it a lot. It's like probably the biggest flex in my life that I have that. It's not even a weird flex. That's just a, yes, I own these things flex. Anyway, she also dropped a cardigan for the Red album. And I feel bad telling you this in case you didn't know this at this point, because it sold out within like 24 hours and I got one of those things. But it also said it was going to take like 6 weeks to ship. And so now I'm looking at this red and white thing because obviously the cardigan is going to be white with red on it because it's the Red album. Just to see if maybe it shipped and I'm going to get a happy Christmas. I'll have a happy Christmas anyway, but it'll be happier with a red cardigan under the tree. I'm sorry, none of that was about... Why do I always turn everything into Taylor Swift? I'm sorry. I love these bars. I love Taylor Swift. That's the peppermint candy cane bar. And that's also how you do layers easily. Yeah. I was totally great at these layers. They were amazing. Those soaps are cute. I love everything about it. I also love that it looks kind of like the red cardigan. These were really fun soaps to make, and they are not exactly Christmas themed, winter themed, I suppose, for sure. But they are, again, going to Tacoma, Java. So if you are in the area, go pick up the soaps. They don't sell them on their website, so sorry for that. But they have some at all of their locations in the Pacific Northwest. So go check them out there if you guys are local, for sure. If you're interested in anything on my website, you can try. I've got a few Tyler Durdens in stock. That's basically it. It's kind of slim pickings. But, you know, you can head over there and maybe subscribe to the newsletter and do all, I don't know, just be there. If you're interested in following me on social medias, I haven't said that thing in a long time. You know, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, I'm there. That's cool. I'm thinking about in January actually doing something with my TikTok. So you can follow me there too. If you are interested in seeing what else we do for the rest of the 365 Days of Soap Year 2 project, subscribe. That would be excellent. For those of you who are already subscribed, you guys are excellent. Thank you for being so. Thank you for being my sudsers. I am out of here for today. I'm going to go check my order status and see when my red cardigan is shipping. But I will see you guys all again tomorrow for another round of soapy fun. Bye.